one aspect is that over this lockdown period, I actually build it from 60 kilometers, and now I'm doing 100 and 120, like ranging from
Right.
100 and 130 kilometers.
Right.
So that lockdown phase helped me, gave me an opportunity to build that. Even if I do a 70.3, still you're always holding yourself back.
Correct.
Even when I told you I was going to go hard on my bike in Ironman Goa, I was still aware that I have to conserve myself for the run. So I would go hard, but not
Yeah.
hard enough.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this base taught me that I could still go hard enough. Like my college days where I
Right.
used to go hard for 400 meters or 800 meters.
Yeah.
I could still do that with the aerobic engine I have developed over the years. What I have experienced myself is that I have always been consistent with my training. Right? So as long as you are consistent with your training, and again, it doesn't need to be your training. I'm just saying consistent even with your work, right?
Right.
You put in your when you're working in office, you committedly do your work there.
I am Baiki Venki, and this is the Working Athlete podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guest is a top-class working athlete. As his Insta handle would suggest, he is not just a marathoner. He is a B.Tech and M.Tech graduate from IIT Mumbai, working as a Risk Analyst at MSCI Incorporated. He is not just a marathoner. He is a top-class marathoner, winning some of the top races in the country. He recently won the New Delhi Marathon, or NDM, with a super impressive time of 2 hours, 31 minutes and 33 seconds. He was the top amateur runner at the race. He's not just a marathoner. He's a top-notch triathlete that stood on podiums in 70.3 or half iron distance triathlons. And he's not just a marathoner. He's also a coach with Athloft Multisport coaching runners and triathletes around the country. His name is Nihal Ahamad Baig. Welcome to the Working Athlete podcast, Nihal. It's great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Venki. It's nice to be here with you.
Awesome. First of all, congratulations to you on your win at the NDM. 2 hours 31:33. Yeah? My God.
So yeah, even I was not expecting it to go that good. Initially, my plan was to I was targeting 2 hours 35, and with the training I had been doing for last few months, I was on target with that. And I recently did a 25K time trial before the race, so that to see if I could be able to hold that pace. And so that went well. I was able to do 25 kilometers in just under 1 hour 30 minutes, and that gave me a confidence that I could go do better in New Delhi Marathon.
Okay.
And because of the race and the race environment, I could able to push even further and get to 2 hours 31.
Let's start with a bit of history. When did your running journey start? When did you start running?
When I joined IIT in 2011, every freshman is given a choice to either take part in a social activity or a sports activity.
Okay.
And at that time, I thought I'll get into athletics. Somehow I felt that athletics is something I want to pursue, not just maybe just recreationally, but I had that in mind. There's a sports trial because they can't fit in everyone. So basically there are trials for that. So I missed that trial because I got viral fever.
Okay.
And then I got into the social service stream. Then they conducted a freshman cross country. I thought I'll just participate and see how it goes. So to my surprise, I was able to finish third in the entire race. So that somehow gave me confidence that yeah, I should really pursue running as in at least in the institute culture I can do better. So I
Hmm.
approached uh, the athletics coach at that time, and I asked him if I can now enroll into the sports
Hmm.
program. Then
Right.
he allowed me, and that's how it started my running journey into.
Okay. So before that, no, in school and
No,
nothing.
nothing. I
Wow.
used to like my childhood was always been active.
Hmm.
I used to play a lot of cricket and other sports, football, mostly cricket. But yeah, because sometimes we also used to play football. But yeah, it has had been active. Uh,
Hmm.
I was never, no.
Cricket. This was in where Hyderabad.
Uh, Across country. My father was in army, so we used to move from
Okay.
different places. So across country, cricket as in not seriously, but just with childhood friends.
Gully
Uh,
cricket.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Right. So once you took part in that cross country race and got on the podium, and then
yes.
approached the coach again to see if you can enroll into sports. Obviously, got enrolled into that. So
Right.
how did your fitness or the training progress during those initial years?
So yeah, initially I was interested in a sprint distance. So he initially made me do a lot of sprints, and I was able to do well in the in the there's a separate group for the first year students,
Hmm.
and I was one of the fastest guy in that group. So
Okay.
even I was also interested in sprint. So the coach asked me to you can actually try to get selected in the institute team.
Hmm.
So then I started practicing with the institute team. I somehow uh, got into the institute team that gets selected for the intra-IT sport that happens every year. So there is an intra-IT, so where all IITs come together and uh, play.
Um,
So I got selected into that. I couldn't perform well in my first year, but then I worked hard in my second and third year.
mhm.
But I also, and then during this phase, I realized that I am actually better at a middle distance running
Okay.
than I'm at sprinting. So you need a little bit of talent to do well in sprinting, and I felt that my 100 meter and 200 meters is not as strong as what my 400, 800, and 1500 meters are.
Okay.
So so then I started pursuing a middle distance and long distance running. So yeah, of course it was only 15 up to 5,000 meters.
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, towards the end of the final year, I was able to uh, I won 5 medals in my final year. So so it
Nice.
really went well after that.
So over those 4 years, you kind of progressed from getting better and also discovering your strengths, as
Yes,
in what you could where you could perform better, like
right.
middle and longer
So it's
distances. Yeah.
right. It's also about the competition around you.
Mm.
So when I was trying to get into sprinting, there were a lot of senior members who were much better than me,
Hmm.
and and there were very few people who were actually taking part into long distance running.
Okay.
And so I tried my hand at there, and I realized I also luckily at that happened. What happened at that time? What happened in my second year? Uh, this senior guys, all senior guys graduated
Hmm.
during that year, so there was a vacant place.
Mm.
Uh, so what? So that also gave me an opportunity to pursue that. Otherwise, I would have just stuck with sprinting. But
Right.
given there is a more opportunity, like there is a choice I can take part in longer distance as well.
Mm.
So I started working on that as that aspect. towards the end of my second year, and realized that I'm actually doing much better at a longer distance than in sprinting.
Nice. So, but when by from doing see till the final year, you said from
Yes.
400 to 5,000 meters, that is
Yes.
still 5Ks, right? Uh,
Right.
but when did this transition to like half marathons and marathons take place?
Just at the end of my after in fifth year actually. I thought, maybe because there was nothing, all the inter-IIT sports were done, and I was in my final year, and I wanted to, challenge myself and see if how well I can perform in half marathon. But I was towards in the final year. I for a lot of like last few months into the final year, I didn't practice at all. I was like, I'm going to graduate anyway. There's no point, doing anything. But then I thought maybe, taking a half marathon as a challenge would be better. So even if I graduated, even if I don't do track event, I can even, participate in half marathons. So at that time,
Outside.
only half marathon. Yeah, when I graduated, when I go out, right? So in the final year, I took part in my first half marathon, and I did that in 1 hour 46 minutes.
Nice.
It was fairly okayish effort, but given how well I was performing in my 5K, but I was not practicing at that time. I just
Right.
wanted to finish that. And the only thing I had in mind is that I should run the distance without stopping. So
Okay.
I was able to do that. So I was happy.
Which race and which year was this?
So this was 2016 Hirandani Thane half marathon
Okay. So in Mumbai.
in Mumbai. Yes.
Right. So what is something about your first race and how you did there kind of
Mm.
uh, kept you interested in the distance, or how did that progress?
So I know what I feel happened is that I am always a very competitive guy. So when I realized that I did 146, though I didn't practice for that. I just wanted to do a half marathon. But I realized that given I can do so well in 5K, at that time my 5K personal best was just under 17 minutes.
Okay.
So I know I had potential. I could do better, and because I am always very competitive in nature, thus I thought, I should improve my timing further. So I thought I should be at least able to get close to 90 minutes half marathon, if not better.
Right.
So so from 2016 to 17, I actually focused on endurance. I worked on my endurance, and in March 2017, I was able to. I couldn't do sub 90, but I was able to hit 1 hour 30 minutes 19 seconds. So
Okay. So you missed by 20 seconds
yes,
going sub 90. Okay.
right.
So what exactly did you do during that time to build endurance? Was it a lot of volume or volume plus intensity? How did that happen?
So so I know I had a good uh, you know I mean I have a good VO2, or you can say a good aerobic threshold,
Right.
but I did lack aerobic endurance. So initial phase was building my endurance, and I was still doing intensity, but much lesser what I used to do in my college time. But the initial year was just to build endurance, and after that, I think towards even in 2017 and 18, I was even till mid of 2018, I was doing a lot of endurance, and only towards the end of 2018, I actually started doing started taking things seriously.
Okay. So lot of endurance in the sense, how did your week look in terms of volume and the distribution of runs
Uh,
back then?
so back then, okay,
Yeah.
it was only, so I only used to run thrice of like thrice a week,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be, it will not be much. So I would do a um as long as 18-kilometer run,
Mm-hmm.
but the other runs will be like 10, 12 kilometers. So the volume will be around 40 to 50 kilometers, but not, I was not exceeding
Okay.
that. And
Right.
towards 2017, and I started cycling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, on alternate days I was also doing a good mileage of bike as well. So
Okay. So is it like by that time did you start working? Uh,
yeah, so 2016 I joined MSCI in
mm-hmm.
2016, August 2016. I was
Okay.
working then,
Hmm.
and I did get a bike at that time, but I was only commuting to office. I was not, cycling in
Right.
general. Uh, but only towards the end of 2007, I was actually, cycling
Okay.
outdoors, like going out and
Right.
building endurance in cycling that
Yeah.
way.
So did cycling just happen as a means of getting from home to office kind of thing, just with the commute, or did anything else was in mind at that point of time when you picked up a cycle?
Uh, okay, so after I did my first half marathon,
Hmm.
uh, I again went into a very, mundane routine where I was not doing anything, and
Okay.
I gained weight only few kgs, but
Hmm.
I was worried that I would get I'll I'll get obese
Yeah.
if I continue this way.
Right.
So so I thought, let's get a cycle so that I can, commute to work. At least I can do that.
Uh-huh.
And so I started doing that, and then in a couple of months later, I also started. No, let's also get that half marathon timing down.
Hmm.
So so it was only towards September, October 2016 when I started. I started. I began my running again, and
Okay.
but again, initially I was only focusing to get my half marathon down. I was
Hmm.
not particularly concerned about my cycling anyway. I was just commuting to work.
Right.
Uh,
Right. So, but then when did this cycling moved from just being commute to the proper kind of cycling longer distances and stuff?
okay, so my manager in office, he's also a recreational
Hmm.
athlete,
Hmm.
and in October or November, to, uh, he also asked me to join for a half marathon.
Okay.
So we went there as a team.
Uh-huh.
So I was doing the run leg, he was
Hmm.
doing a swim leg, and another guy was doing a bike. And so that somehow,
It's
from
a
there,
it's a triathlon relay, is it?
yeah, it's a yeah, triathlon relay. So
Okay.
from there, the triathlon got into my mind. So
Hmm.
right, I thought, yeah, there is something like this. So it was a half Iron distance. I was supposed to run half marathon. But
Hmm.
yeah, the whole thing is, when we went there and when I witnessed triathlon,
Hmm.
I was kind of, fascinated by that. So that I had that in mind. Though I did not started cycling uh, just after that, but
Hmm.
I had that in mind. Yeah, I should, uh,
The
this is also
seed,
fascinating.
the seed
Yeah,
was planted.
right.
Okay.
So, but at that time, at that time, I was not. I didn't know swimming at all. So
Right.
I thought, cycling. I thought maybe cycling can be built anyway.
Hmm.
I can. The one thing I need to work more on would be swimming. So if I
Hmm.
can swim for 2 kilometers non-stop, then I should actually consider to take part into triathlon. So
Okay.
so
And
that's
that's
how I.
And that's when you kind of started riding more longer distances apart from commutes, or when did this exactly start?
So this exactly started in March 2017.
Hmm.
But yeah, in between during this November to that March, I was also had also started swimming. I was
Okay.
trying to learn swimming.
Hmm.
So
So immediately after coming back from the event, you kind of joined swimming and started learning.
right, yes,
Okay. Okay. And then you picked up cycling as well alongside.
alongside that was yeah. Few months later, yeah,
Few
I
months
picked up
later.
cycling.
Okay. How was those initial years, initial months of cycling? What were you doing? Were you just riding longer and longer distances over a period of time? And how did you build your cycling capabilities?
Okay. Yeah. So initially it was just like that. Just like you said, it is. I
Hmm.
was only building volume. I was trying to see how well I can, how long I can ride.
Hmm.
So the weekend ride would be like 60 kilometers. Initially it was 50 kilometers, then 60, 70 kilometers. And then I was also checking how, if I am able to hold a similar average pace,
Hmm.
average speed uh, for the same for a longer distance or not,
Hmm.
and I was able to do that. uh, Even then, but during this period, uh, I also got into get in touch with other triathletes.
Okay.
So not physically, but we were more associated. We were only socially
Hmm.
linked.
Interacting.
Yeah, socially interacting.
Hmm.
Uh, so I realized that if I could hold maybe 30 kilometer
Hmm.
per hour
Hmm.
speed, that is a good you know good ballpark number
Hmm.
for a 90-kilometer distance.
Okay.
So I tried. I worked towards that too. Because when I started, I was doing 22 kilometer per hour,
Hmm.
and gradually I build up to 28, 30 kilometer per hour. But yeah, initially I was riding a hybrid bike,
Hmm.
and 6 months after that I got a road bike. And when I got on a road bike, I got faster anyway. Like,
Right. So, but in those initial months, what training with hybrid, you
yeah,
started at 22 kmph, 25, 28, and reached 30 kmph, and
yes,
then got on a road bike. And did you see it showing 32 kmph and stuff?
yeah, 32, yeah, 32, 33 kilometers.
Right, right. Immediately the aero advantage of drop bars and all that, right?
It was there.
Awesome. Awesome. So, yeah, alongside you have started training for swim.
Yes.
How did that swim progress?
Okay. So I was initially I would go out with my some of my friends,
Hmm.
who know a bit of swimming. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, so I tried what they told me,
Hmm.
and even though they weren't that consistent, I got consistent. And initially I just tried to do a 50-meter length without
Hmm.
stopping. That was the first challenge that I had.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, like, but with consistently, so I did initially, I did 25 meters, then 30 meters, then 40 meters, then I
Hmm.
would just swim along the wall and try
Hmm.
to reach as far as possible without
Right.
gasping for air. So yeah, without
Without
going out of
stopping.
breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, so once I reached 50 meters, that
Hmm.
gave me, I think it's a mental thing. So that gave
Right.
me a confidence that I can probably do 100-meter without stop. So,
Okay.
and then I started building on that.
Hmm.
Uh, so initially I started taking like couple of seconds after, couple of seconds break after every 50 meters.
Hmm.
But after a while, I was, I was able to continuously swim without stopping.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, at that time I was only focusing on completing the distance without worrying about my form at all. So
Right.
it was only toward the end of mid of 2018 where I actually worked on my form,
Hmm.
swimming form.
Okay. So until that time, you were showing up consistently at the pool
Yes,
and trying to improve the length of time, length of distance that you could swim
yes,
without
right,
gasping for air or without
yes,
stopping. So
yes.
how many days per week were you showing up at the pool to improve your swimming?
Uh, 3-4 times a week.
Okay. And how was the cycling? Was it again 2 3 days or 3 4 days a week?
Yeah, so yeah, everything. Like, even my run was 3 or 4, not more than 4 sessions per week.
Okay.
Uh, Also, I had some. I was uh, I was feeling a lot of fatigue if I run continuous like at a consecutive days. So
Okay.
I was taking 1 day break after every run because
Hmm.
I was not used to the volume I was doing.
Hmm.
Uh, because since I was only doing 5K in my college, so
Correct.
even doing 12K or 15K every day was a
Fatigue.
lot for me. Yes.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
so so yeah, it was so every session was like 3 sessions
Hmm.
per week.
Okay. So basically, at that time you were working full time, right?
Yes.
Even now, but you were doing 3 sessions of swim per week, say sessions of bike per week, and 3 sessions
Right.
of run per week. How were you kind of say if I take two sports? I can say, okay, 3 days of running and alternate days I can put in the bike. But
Right.
where were you inserting uh,
Right.
the third sport, like swim?
So, like I said, so they had a different time frame when I started this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Initial, it was only running and swimming,
Mm.
and then the bike came into picture.
Right.
But what I used to do was I would go for a run first,
Mm.
and then just hit the pool,
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
Mm.
okay, just to, so maybe like I was just doing 30 minutes of swimming, not more than that initially.
Right.
And as I progressed, started adding 5-10 minutes
Mm.
on my time as well. So
Right.
so
So.
I realized that if I put if I slowly increase the volume,
Mm.
I would not feel very fatigued. And
Right.
also my office timing at that time was after 11 a.m. So I had still
Okay.
a good amount of time in the morning, so I can
Mm.
finish both my workout and go to office. So
Okay.
that
So
also helped.
yeah,
Mm.
so that was before you kind of brought uh, biking into the mix.
I can
So when
yes.
you got biking into the mix, how did that pan out?
Uh, okay. So initially it was just one cycling. So initially it was only weekends. I used to go for a ride only on the weekend because
Okay. Okay.
that's
Hmm.
how it started. So
Right.
it will be like 2 sessions initially, but then I started to put in one more cycling
In the middle of the week
in
as well.
week. Yeah.
Ah.
So one on weekdays and other 2 rides on weekends. It would
Hmm.
be that way. Uh, yeah. So that's
Nice. So some days would end up being 2 sessions per
yeah.
day, and then rest you would distribute, and making
Right.
sure all the time
So if I'm
that you are not fatigued with intense sessions or longer
yes,
sessions on consecutive days.
true.
Basically, making sure that you're kind of well rested before you are hitting a longer or intenser
Hitting the next.
session. Awesome,
That's
awesome.
right.
Right. So, how did this training lead to your first triathlon? When was this your first triathlon, and how did that go?
Okay. So it was in 2000, October 2017.
Okay.
So I registered for Hyderabad. So because at towards March I was anyways doing all three disciplines, and
Right.
and at that time I was able to swim 100 meters without stopping. So I
Mm.
thought, ki, yeah, I think like if I can build over this, I can probably do 2 kilometers continuously.
Mm.
But again, I was not very confident about doing it continuously without stopping,
Mm.
doing the swing without stopping. So I
Mm.
thought first I'll register for a triathlon where there is a pool swim rather than, because I can stop after 50 meters if I'm out
Right.
of breath.
Yeah.
So so I registered for the Hyderabad triathlon in 2017. That was in October 2017,
Mm.
and that was my first triathlon experience. And so the whole point was to finish swim in 70 minutes. I was able to do that in 1 hour 1 minute.
Okay. uh,
And then I was confident about my bike because I was at that time I was consistently holding 30 kilometer per hour.
mm.
Uh, so I thought I'll be able to manage that.
Mm.
Of course, Hyderabad was going to be slightly, rolling hills.
Right.
So I thought maybe, if not 3 hours, maybe in 3 hour 20 minutes, I would be able to finish.
Mm.
But what happened was in 15 minutes into cycling, I got a flat,
Oh,
and that
okay.
was, and I was not prepared for that. And I was, of course, carrying a tube, but I
Uh-huh.
was not prepared for changing the tire. So it took
Right.
me about 20-25 minutes to change the tube,
Right.
fill the air somehow, and somehow I finished. Like I took,
Was it like your first flat ever or
yeah, that,
something?
yeah, it was my
Wow.
first. Yes.
What a time
So
to have.
I was going smooth. And in fact, I was feeling good after
Yeah.
I got out of water, and I was going really well. And then this happened, and
Right.
so it was after that. Even mentally, it was. I was mentally fatigued. Like, what is happening
Yeah.
with me?
Uh,
So, but yeah, I was somehow managed to finish my bike in 4 hours something,
uh-huh.
4 hour 10 minutes or something.
Right.
4 hours, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then came the run. The run was good. I was able to do. My plan was to hold 5 minute pace,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I was able to do that.
Okay.
I did 144 for my run.
Hmm.
So,
That
but yeah,
was
I finished just under 7 hours for half Ironman.
nice. So with a flat in there. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So that was quite an introduction to triathlons. But did that experience again throw you a bit of a challenge, saying that, okay, this time is not very good. I need to bring it down. And
right,
I'm guessing that is what kind of propelled you in the next few half Iron distance
right.
triathlons.
So only timing I was happy with was my run because it was a decent half marathon anyway.
Right.
So I thought, I need to really work on my swim,
Uh-huh.
and also my bike. And even if I face any technical issues on the bike, I should not feel clueless at that point.
Right. Right.
So
So what were the kind of changes that you did for training for your next couple of half Iron distances? You've signed up for Behrain and Colombo, I think, right?
yes,
After that.
yes,
So how did
yes.
those go?
Okay. So I now started structuring my workout well.
Okay.
This was the phase after that, like after a few months after the Hyderabad triathlon.
Now in
Uh,
2018, kind of.
2018, yes,
Yeah.
early 2018.
Hmm.
So again, my focus. So now I started doing intensity sessions for both bike and run.
Hmm.
Again, since I did not had any power meter, I was still, going on the best of the speed. But
Hmm.
since I was doing the same route,
Hmm.
it was okay. It was okay to keep
Train
go
on
that way.
pace. Okay.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So, and I was doing at least one interval session for each discipline.
Hmm.
Uh, because the initial year for swimming was all just to finish
Just
it.
yeah, just to build the base for it.
Right. Even for
Gradually,
cycling, it was the same,
right.
right? So I thought maybe having intervals would help. And uh, for swimming, what I did was so I used to swim in IIT swimming pool.
Hmm.
I used to stay nearby.
Hmm.
So there were a lot of not coaches but supporting staff in the pool that
Hmm.
know me really well.
Hmm.
So I they helped me a lot with the form correction
Okay.
at the initial period,
Hmm.
and and I also read a lot about it. Initially I was just doing swim for the sake of it. I was not I didn't care about my form at all.
Right.
And when I actually put time into how my hand is entering into the water, how I'm pulling the water to propel myself ahead,
Hmm.
so that all this came into picture, and I was getting more technical with how things work,
Right.
in swimming, and like
You were looking at the engineering aspects of it.
yes. So
Yeah.
and they all and the supporting staff were also used to watch me. If they also used to tell me that you need to
The-
correct this, you need to correct that.
yeah.
So they were so so yeah. So and then after 6 months, I was able to cut down from 1 hour to getting close to 42 minutes swim for
Awesome.
1.9 kilometer.
Awesome. Hmm. And then see how did the bike intervals or did they help you getting from 30 to 33 to like closer to 40 kind of thing?
Uh, not closer, not 40. I would say I was able to. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was doing 37, 38 kmph. But
Yeah.
I was not doing intervals. I
Hmm.
not as in not shorter intervals. I was doing longer intervals, more
Okay.
kind of a tempo
Tempo
session.
intervals. Hmm.
Yeah. So I would go hard for 10 kilometers, easy for 5 kilometers, then go hard for 10 kilometers.
Right.
That way.
Hmm.
Initially, I was at that. Uh, I know. I was not doing short intervals because I was training outdoors, and I was doing on a highway, and I was really worried about my safety. If I
Correct.
go really hard for 1 minute, so
Yeah,
so
definitely the
that's
safety is
why I
a
was
concern. Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Uh, so that was there,
Hmm.
and then there was a race in Pune in September.
Hmm.
So so there's a group called Recreational Triathlete in Pune. So they were conducting a 70.3 distance for uh, whoever who can do it under 5 hours. So they kept that criteria,
Okay.
and I wanted to challenge myself that. So I thought, uh, given given my performance from what I have been doing, I think I calculated. I added all the times for a 90-kilometer bike, swim, and again for my run.
Hmm.
And I thought, yeah, maybe I can do it under 5 hours. So I thought, let's go and participate.
Hmm. So was it like
And
that event had a kind of entry criteria that you should have done 5 hours, or
no,
you
no,
are hopeful of doing 5 hours?
yes, even if you're hopeful of doing it, you
Yeah,
can.
that's the
So
event for
basically,
you.
they said that we will only provide all the support for five
Per
hours.
5 hours. Ah,
Okay,
okay, that makes sense.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, so
How did you do
I,
there?
uh, so I did 4 hours 45 minutes.
Wow. That's your first sub 5.
Sub 5. Yeah, that was my second triathlon, and I was able to do
Yeah, obviously from closer to 7 hours
7
to
hours.
sub 5. Who was the fastest there? Were you the fastest in that
No,
event? No, right.
no. So Bishorjit, he did
Mhm.
he did it in 4 hours 9 minutes.
Oh,
So
phew.
he was the fastest guy there.
Okay.
Uh, so there were 12 participants. I
Uh-huh.
came 8,
Okay.
and 3 people could not finish,
Okay.
but 9 people finished. But they were all under 5 hours. So I was
Wow.
happy that my target was not to compete at there. I just wanted to get my time under 5 hours.
Right.
Then this time, because I knew that I had trained well,
Hmm.
uh, even though it was not using a power meter or
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Still, I was hopeful that given the effort and given this on the field uh, on which I have been training, I can
Hmm.
do this.
Hmm.
So I was able to do a 42-minute swim,
Hmm.
uh, 2 hours 33 minutes bike, I think 35 kmph
Right.
bike,
Hmm.
and I at that time I was yeah. So just few months before the event,
Event
I did a time half marathon time trial, and I did 1 hour 22 minutes in that
for the run. Yeah.
for the run.
Awesome.
So it was a self-supported time trial. No, I
Correct.
didn't participate,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I was confident that maybe I can do 1 hour 30 minutes in the run, and but yeah,
Even, yeah. Even after the bike and
even
stuff.
after the
Yeah.
bike, but I was able to do better. I did 1 hour 26 in
Awesome.
the
Awesome.
run.
Right. So that the performance there give you enough confidence to sign up for, you know,
Bahrain.
bah-
Yes,
Bahrain? Okay. Yeah.
yes. So now I thought if I go out and participate, I would want to do a under 5 hours Ironman, and the condition, this was the best condition I would be training. I would be
Correct.
racing with the Pune one,
Right.
or so I thought, yeah, if I can do it here, maybe then it makes sense to register for a.
Right.
It's also a thing. It's also a thing like if I want to invest that much
Hmm.
going abroad and participate in a race, I
Right.
would be at least this good. So
Right.
that I had that in mind. So
Right.
only after that I registered for the Bahrain, and it
Hmm.
gave me a lot of confidence at and I actually started taking things seriously after that
Okay.
race. You
Hmm.
know,
So how did that Bahrain uh, event pan out? Did you do well there?
yeah, I did 4 hours 44 minutes, just 1 minute faster than what I did in Pune. But
Nice. Uh, so,
but but there are a lot of other components, right?
right.
As in Pune, the transition was very fast because
Hmm.
the volunteers were very helpful there.
Right.
But in Ironman,
And
because
the
you have
number of
to
participants were like very
less,
handful.
only
Yeah.
a handful.
Yeah.
So it's like you keep your bike and you can just start your run, or you can just come out of from the swim and start riding. It was
Right.
that kind of an setup.
Correct.
But in Bahrain, in Ironman, it's not that. You have to
Right.
go through a process, and then
Correct.
only you'll.
Correct. Yeah.
So of course, I gained few minutes in transition there,
Hmm.
but I was able to cut down a
Uh,
lot in my swim
hmm.
because it was a wetsuit swim.
Hmm.
So I did 36 minutes swim,
Nice.
and it's just because it was a wetsuit swim.
Okay.
You gain at
Right.
least 10 seconds per 100 meter if
Wow.
you are a weak swimmer like me.
Right. Awesome. So was it where you qualified for World Championships?
No, it was Colombo. So
Okay. Okay. So when was
so yeah.
Colombo?
So so at Bahrain I came. I stood fifth in my age group,
Oh,
uh,
awesome.
but I didn't get the world championship slot there.
So how does the World Championship slot work? Only for the top three or something?
It's not that way. So
Uh,
basically, they'll have a fixed number of slots. Let's say
right.
30 to 50 maybe,
Per event.
and they'll yeah,
Hmm.
and they'll see how many participants are there in total,
Right.
and they'll see how many participants are there in the age group. So they'll keep
Okay.
that ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there are 1,000 participants and there are only 50 in my age group,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say they have to give 50 slots.
Okay.
So it's like one slot per 20 participants, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So if in my age group there are 40 uh,
Participants,
40
then only two
participants,
slots
then
will be there.
only two slots will be given.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that
Makes
way.
sense. Makes sense. So you stood fifth overall in your age category.
Yes.
That is quite impressive for your the first international
For
Ironman. And then you participated in Colombo, and that is where you
Colombo
qualified for uh, uh, World Championships.
World Championship. That's right.
So was it how was the experience there?
So after Bahrain, I got an indoor trainer. I started training indoor. So
Right.
right. So
Uh,
there's no during Bahrain, I used to train very insanely. I used to go at very odd hours. You should tell most of my rides I did it between 11 and 12:30
11
in the
and
morning.
12:30 in the morning, like
Yes,
peak sun almost.
peak sun. Yeah,
Right.
except for long rides,
Uh,
all week, uh, you know, all weekday workouts were all weekday cycling were
mhm.
on this time.
Why was it? Was it because of the work time that you couldn't push it uh, ahead, or because
Uh,
of the more sessions?
so it's also my work timing. I
Hmm.
was not able to get up very early in the morning
Okay.
because of my office timings. I used to stay in office till 11:30 sometime.
Wow.
Uh,
Hmm.
so I was not able to get up early in the morning. So I was only able to do one session very early.
Right.
Not very early, I would say, like even at 7:30 if I start it is. So
Uh,
and also the pool closes by 9. So I
hmm.
had to uh, you know get the swimming done before I could go for cycling.
Right.
And similarly for the run.
Hmm.
So what I was doing was after so basically after running you can't do a proper swim workout.
Right.
You can only I was doing going I was still swimming but as a recovery or as just a easy swim.
Mhm.
So
Why is
on
that? Because
at the
both.
same
Why is that? Because both the sports require your legs to be more this
yes,
thing,
you
or?
need to constantly kick to stay afloat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a very much lean athlete, so
Right.
my body would sink if I don't use my leg that much,
Right.
and I feel my legs are quite heavy. My legs get very heavy after a run
Right.
as compared to a bike session. So what I would do is, so that's why I planned it that way.
Do the
As
swim
on
first, and then do.
the, do the run or the bike
Right.
session. That's
So.
why I had to do it in the afternoon. But yeah, then I thought it's better to get a home train. It's a good investment to have a home indoor trainer,
Mhm.
rather than going out in the afternoon and you
Absolutely,
know
absolutely.
yes.
How did getting that trainer change your training, not just in terms of timings, but also in terms of the way you trained? Were you able to, because you mentioned earlier that you
Right,
were not able to put in the short, intense stuff because you were
right,
afraid of.
exactly. Yes.
So
So
trainer obviously helped that there.
definitely. So I was also working on my both my threshold and
Mhm.
the aerobic power maximum map basically the
Mm.
VO2
Correct.
power.
Mhm.
And because even outdoor I was not even going threshold because even the threshold intensity is quite unsafe on a flat roads,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I was able to do. I was actually uh, doing a lot of more focused training on my more
Indoor.
threshold and VO2 focused training when I got the trainer.
Okay.
Uh, I just not just started doing a lot of intensity. I was still very, conservative and
Gradually,
was going
yeah,
gradually.
build into
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
build into it. So there was not enough time to build a lot of things for Colombo because it was just 2.5 months apart
From
from
Bahrain.
Bahrain, and
Hmm.
also had the Tata Mumbai Marathon in Jan.
Okay.
So I initial plan was to just do Bahrain and Tata Mumbai Marathon,
Mm.
but because I didn't get the slot, I thought maybe Colombo I can get a slot.
Right.
So that's why I thought then I registered for Colombo as well.
Hmm. So, but
Uh,
when you
ah,
showed up at Colombo, uh,
hmm.
how was your timing compare and performance compared to your earlier Bahrain, and how was the field different from there to qualify
Okay.
there?
Yeah. So Bahrain is a very fast course, and
Hmm.
in all aspects because of the condition. One is the weather condition, so it was suitable for the run as well, and
Hmm.
the swim was a wetsuit swim, so you get a faster time, and
Right.
even the bike course was flat and
Hmm.
not that humid.
Hmm.
Okay, even Colombo was flat, but there were a lot of U-turns in Colombo, so
Okay.
you have to stop and every U-turn
Slow down,
you
you can do.
actually had to stop and
Oh, okay.
control your not stop, but yeah, there
Very,
were
very.
U-turns.
It would be as good as slowing down to an almost
Exactly.
stop if it is a
Yes.
U-turn, right?
And you
Yeah.
start to and you have to accelerate again.
Right.
So, but there was few changes. I had a TT bike. I was also training on my power.
Hmm.
Uh, I have also had a lot of running volume because I was building for the Mumbai Marathon.
Okay.
So, so that helped. And the conditions were it was really hot and humid that day.
Right.
Even the water was a little choppy as well, and
Hmm.
I the swim didn't really well.
Hmm.
But I think I did 42 minutes or something for
Hmm.
the swim.
It was
Uh,
not a wetsuit Smith
yeah,
swim.
it was not. It was a
Yeah.
very it was a very hot day.
Right.
So the temperature was 28, 30 in the morning when
Yeah.
we went into the water, and later it went up to 35 plus towards
Right.
when we
Yeah.
were running.
Hmm.
Despite of U-turns, I was able to hold 37.5, 38 kilometer per hour for the
Hmm.
bike.
Hmm.
I think had a lot to do with the position with what you get with the triathlon bike,
Right.
and also I was never comfortable going on aero bars on my road bike.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
also was a factor. So
Right.
every time I feel a little discomfort, I would get on my hoods
Right. It.
and again my pace
Yeah.
would drop.
Right.
So but yeah, having a triathlon bike helped there.
Hmm.
Uh, Even though it was a slower course, I did a
You did
6 minutes faster split in
then
Colombo
Bahrain. Okay.
than Bahrain. The run was hot, so it actually helped me because I was training in Mumbai, so
Right.
I was used to that hot and humid climate,
Right.
and I saw people struggling. Even I struggled after 12 kilometers, but people have struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Then my pace started dropping after 12 kilometers, but I was still able to do a decent second half
Hmm.
of the run as well.
Okay. So how was the time better than Bahrain in the
The
overall?
overall time was yes. So I did it in 4 hours 39 minutes. So it was
Okay.
5 minutes improvement from Bahrain.
Awesome. Awesome. And were you on the top on the
So yeah,
podiums too?
I came third in my age category,
Okay. And
and yeah,
that gave you
there
the
were
call.
three. Yeah, and there were three slots in my age category. So
Awesome,
I got the,
awesome,
I got the championship slot. Yeah.
awesome. So you got your first podium in 70.3
Yes.
um, event, and got your first qualification in World Championships there.
Yes. Yes.
And this was your fourth event of that distance.
Yes.
That's a terrific progression, right? From where you started.
Yeah.
And so did you also train, you trained your swim technique, you trained your intensity on the bike, and you got a triathlon bike. Your run was always good, but you kept working at it. But did you
Yes.
also train your technical bike skills, like changing the flat and stuff
I
faster?
did. I did. After that,
Uh,
uh, not right after that, but yeah, in 2018, before my race, so before I was supposed to do the Pune race, I did a lot of practice with changing tubes and fixing it.
so did it come down from 20 minutes to 5 minutes or something?
Yeah. Now I can, yeah. Now I can definitely do it under 5 minutes. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thankfully, I think you did not get a chance to try it in a
Yeah.
race.
So yeah, luckily it happened only in my first race and it never happened after.
That is good. Let's keep it that day. Now you went there to Ironman World Championships in
Yes.
France. How was the experience there? Did you still? I mean, that Ironman France Nice is one of the toughest courses, right?
Yes. The
I
bike
would
course was
think
very hilly.
I would think doing a PB there would be very
Yeah.
tough. Yeah,
So PE was never on mind. It was
yeah,
just to go as do your best basically. The
right.
plan was that.
Hmm.
Uh, but there were a lot of hiccups
Hmm.
before in during the training as well as during the race.
Okay.
During the training, what happened was I had a hip injury.
Ah,
So I stopped. I had to stop running for almost 6 weeks. Three. There
okay.
was and it was just 3 months before the race. So
Right.
after that 6 weeks break, I had to start running, and I had only 6 weeks to
To
the
build back. Yeah.
build back.
Right.
So I started very slow at that time, but
Hmm.
somehow towards the end, I was feeling, yeah, I was not 100%, but I was feeling 90% fit.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so
So, but 90% in terms of your fitness or the recovery from the injury?
so even after 6 weeks of gap, I could feel I was struggling to hold a 5 minute pace, even for let's 6 7 kilometers.
Okay.
But I
But the
then had
injury
to go.
is, but the injury is all sorted.
Yeah, it was sorted. Yeah, it was sorted towards in the last week itself. So
Okay.
even before that week, I didn't do any long runs. I couldn't do any
Hmm.
long run before that, and
Hmm.
and just a week before that, I just did a 20 kilometer to see if I will be able to do that,
Right.
and and during that I realized, yeah, it's not troubling me that much anymore.
Okay. Okay.
I can do a 20 kilometers even though at a slower pace, but I can do it at 20 kilometers without uh,
Hmm.
without my hip causing
Right.
any hindrance.
Right. But did that injury hinder your only your run, or did it affect your swim and bike?
Slightly, so my swim was slightly affected. I was not able to kick
Hmm.
well, so most of my training was using the pool boy, where you keep the pool under your between your legs, and
Okay.
you don't kick. You don't need to kick,
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay. Hmm.
So, but yeah, towards when I started running, I also started using flippers
Hmm.
so that I'll also strengthen my glutes and hip muscles that
Right.
way.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was also getting back into
Hmm.
kicking phase.
Right.
Uh,
Did you take any physio help or anything during to because it is very tricky, right? With an injury to kind of
Yes,
continue training at, even if it is not at the same intensity, even
right.
managing with that injury
Mhm.
management basically, and continue training is quite tricky, right? So how did you kind of figure out, what helped you to figure out, it's okay to do this much and not this much during that
Okay.
time?
So it's a lot of trial and error thing
Okay.
initially.
Hmm.
Uh, so I was trying to see what I am able to do, how much I'm able to do, and I
Hmm.
realized that if I was able to bike well, but if I go aero, I would not. I was not able to do. I would. There is a slight hindrance when I was going aero.
Right.
Uh, then I started, and during that time, because I knew that my glutes and hip muscles are weak, I
Hmm.
started doing a lot of strength and focusing just on that. So the time that I had, I would be running. I was strengthening my glutes and hips at that time,
Right.
and the few exercises that really help and or strengthen my muscles, and I slowly the pain started diminishing,
Right.
and I was feeling better. And yeah, of course, I would I now I look back, I realize that I should have gone to a physio, and it would have been a much faster process.
Right.
But
Right.
I was not very comfortable going to a physio at that time, and I was
Hmm.
like, I wanted to understand what is going on with me first, right?
Right. Right.
I need to understand which muscles is weak. Like I know if I go to a physio,
Hmm.
uh, they'll will probably do a needling or some other thing, use some other instrument and heal me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to understand what is basically wrong with me that
Right.
caused the injury, right?
Okay.
So, so I was trying few things to understand which muscle and which part. What if I engage this muscle, what will happen?
Hmm.
So it's a good learning experience
Right.
that I had during those 6 weeks, and
Right.
even after that, because even after I started running, I was still doing this for even after I had
Right.
healed my hip,
Hmm.
and even now and then, if even there is a slight bit of niggle,
Hmm.
I would just go back to what I had,
Right.
go back to those exercises what I have done, and I would feel better.
Right, right, right. So you
But
kind
now,
of you
uh,
kind of worked more in tune to understand your body minutiae of what is how we which exercises are engaging what muscle, and what is kind of improving your feeling on the
yes,
bike, run, and kind of swim,
right,
so that you can work on strengthening the weaker stuff.
right.
Okay. Okay.
Another example I would say give you that. So initially, I was not very comfortable kicking,
Hmm.
like I mentioned, right? I was not
Right.
comfortable kicking because when I started the normal horizontal kicking,
Hmm.
I was feeling a lot more pain.
Hmm.
But then I realized when I was kicking on my side, basically
Hmm.
lying on my side and start kicking, it was actually I it was kind of, and if I use a flipper, it was kind of a strengthening exercise.
Right.
It was actually strengthening my glutes.
Hmm.
So later, as a because it's also a form drill for
Hmm.
swimming.
Hmm.
I used to do that drill a lot.
Okay.
Because of course it will also improve my rotation in swimming, as well as
Right.
it is also helping with the
Strengthening
hips
of your
and hips.
glute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Awesome.
trying things out, and I understand that yeah, there are things that might work in your way if try out and try to understand your body.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yes.
So how did it, you know quickly the experience there in France go? given that you had to work with so many constraints due to the
Yes.
injury?
So yeah, like I said, when I did my last long run, I was feeling,
Hmm.
confident about my run. Yeah, now the run will go well.
Right.
So when I went there, I was confident that yeah, it will go well, and so I did. Uh, so when I reached there, I did a route recce. I did the entire bike loop. I
Hmm.
reached there a week before the race so that I can do the route recce. Because because it's a single loop and it was the halfway is uphill and halfway is a technical downhill.
Right.
So
Right.
I had
Yeah.
to face those. I need to need under, I needed to understand those challenge as well.
Hmm.
So climbing was not a problem for me
Hmm.
because with all the indoor training, I have built a lot of
Muscular
power.
endurance. Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's just the technical part which was, and I didn't realize it was going to be that technical, and
Hmm.
I realized that my triathlon bike is very aggressive for a technical course like that,
Right. Especially on
right?
downhills. Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there were like a lot of hairpin turns,
Uh,
and so and in so what happened on one of the route recce, uh, there was a close call from a car that was coming from the. So there was a blind turn,
hmm.
and I was taking that turn at a very high speed,
Okay.
and a car came very close to me, and it was very close, and I
Uh,
lost my control and I fell down.
wow.
Right. Luckily, I was able to unclip, but I
Uh-huh.
still fell.
Hmm.
Uh, so it was just 3 days before, or 4 days before the race.
Right.
So you know, so if something like this happens, few days before the race, that scars you, mentally, right?
Right.
Now to do this in the race, I have to,
Yeah.
go much faster
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
So I was worried about it, and uh, the entire, and I also got sick after that incident. I don't know what happened. It's probably my body went into a shock after the incident. It could be
Okay.
because of that, or could be any other thing. I
Hmm.
not really sure, but I'm assuming it could be one of those, either
Okay.
the weather or this.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I was really sick for the next 3 days. I didn't do anything. I was supposed to do a swim,
Yeah.
recce, and the run.
Yeah.
I did manage to do a short run and a short swim
Hmm.
just a day before the race.
Hmm.
But yeah, the 3 days between, I couldn't do anything because I was very, very sick.
Okay.
Uh, and when you're sick, you mentally, your confidence go down a bit, a lot.
Yeah. A lot.
Actually,
Yeah.
right? And because you're not feeling good physically and also not feeling good mentally,
Right.
there was always going to be a challenge. And
Right.
so what happened was Saturday was day prior to the men's race was women's race.
Right.
So it was a wetsuit swim,
Hmm.
and even the weather there was quite chilly.
Hmm.
So we were hoping for a wetsuit swim. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I was slightly sick, right? So I was even feeling more chillier
Colder.
than,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I was expecting it to be a wetsuit, but the water temperature was just only zero point 0.3 degree higher
The
than the
swimsuit temperature.
legal for wetsuit. Yeah.
Okay.
So they said it's not a wetsuit legal, so you can't use wetsuit. It was very windy that
Hmm. Hmm.
I could feel the chill when I was just standing there. I could feel that I was shivering
Right.
at that moment. Somehow I finished the swim.
Hmm.
Uh, to my surprise, I was able to do, this was my best swim time for a non-wet, not non-wetsuit swim
Oh. Okay.
in a 70.3 distance.
Hmm.
So I was able to do 38 minutes
Oh,
swim.
brilliant. Hmm.
But after I got out of water, I was literally shivering, and
Hmm.
I I could. I don't know what happened. Like, it was very chilly.
Yeah.
And then I got into the bike. I was never able to warm up. I was never feeling comfortable, and
Hmm.
because I was not feeling comfortable, basically the first 10 kilometers is a flat section.
Hmm.
Then there's a 35-kilometer climb, and then the 35
Right.
kilometer distance, and then the 10-kilometer way back is
Flat.
uh, again a flat.
Hmm.
So since my body was not warmed up, I was not comfortable going aero.
Yeah.
I was feeling that cold, so and all, and it didn't go well. And even I was not able to put a lot of effort on the climb as well.
Right.
And I don't know, it was mentally I was like, the race is gone. Uh,
Right.
Even though even though I would have pushed, I don't know. Even I was trying to push, but
Hmm.
somehow the body
Sometimes,
was not reacting. Yeah,
yeah, sometimes you would just not feel in it, right? It would just be
right,
finding it difficult, very difficult to find a rhythm at all.
right.
Yeah, some
So
of those days. Yeah.
and
Okay.
then the downhill after halfway into the race, downhill during the downhill part, I was like, even the race is anyway gone. So
Right.
I'll just, I'll not take anything. I'll not do anything
Stay
silly
safe.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, to stay safe, I just went easy
Hmm.
downhill and
Hmm.
yeah, got into the transition, and I was like, then I felt like I just want just to be
Hmm.
over,
Right.
right?
Right.
Uh, so, but yeah, it just somehow running is something which I love dearly.
Hmm.
I cannot just you know uh, I didn't want to do it just on just to get over with. I still wanted to have a decent run.
Hmm.
So I thought I'll just hold 4 minutes per kilometer pace,
Hmm.
and so yeah, I did that. I consistently hold that pace for the entire uh,
Okay.
half marathon, basically.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was. There are a lot of learnings. If I look back, there are a lot of learnings that I have.
Hmm.
Uh, Even though it was not a good day for me, but I do look back and I could say that yeah, there are a lot of learnings that I have,
Okay.
uh, which
What
I
were some
can
of
of course.
those?
It's first thing is never take anything for granted, right? I thought it will be going to be a wetsuit swim.
Yeah.
I took it very granted, like and yeah, so it is going to be a wetsuit, so I cannot take that for granted.
Yeah.
Secondly, it was a very technical. I should have read the
Hmm.
uh, route much before I got there. I should
Right.
have
Yeah. The
keep a
fit.
riser on
Hmm.
for the aero bars, or
Hmm.
could have actually gone for a road bike,
Right.
because it was so technical, and because
Hmm.
anyway the 35 kilometers anyway is a climb,
Climb.
right?
Right.
So tri bike is anyway going to be a heavy,
Right.
and it's not going to be a faster time. So it
Hmm.
would have been. So either of those two changes,
Hmm.
uh, I should have been really careful with when I was doing the route recce. So it was
Right.
silly. I should
Yeah.
not be going that fast on a blind turn.
Right.
So it's not
Yeah. I
since it
think.
was not a race. Since it was not a race, it was
Yeah.
just a route recce.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I.
things like that happen.
Yeah. I think the what we consider as failures teaches more, much more than what we consider our successes, right? Or good races.
True, true. Very true.
Definitely, definitely. But you
Yes,
came out of that and got into uh, got onto the podium of the first Ironman event in India, the
yes.
Goa 70.3. How was that experience overall?
Right.
You finished
So
second overall, right there?
yes, yes, that's right. So after France, I was really disappointed with everything basically.
Mm.
But yeah, so I was more disappointed with my bike because I have been working a lot on my bike. Because building up to France, I was not able to improve on my run because of the injury.
Mm.
But yeah, really working hard on my bike, and I was actually training. You know, like I said, I got the intro trainer, so I was
Mm.
doing a power-based threshold endurance-based training.
Right.
So I wanted to see how well I could perform on a how much. Basically, this is a test for me right now.
Right.
This race, I couldn't do that in Nice
Mm.
for whichever reason, but I wanted to uh, feel that. So the idea was to go as hard as possible on the bike. I
Okay.
had that in mind. Like
Mm.
I didn't care about anything else. So
Okay.
for me, it was like, yeah, I have trained so much on my bike. I will give almost like 95, at least 9, if not 100%. I will give my 95% on the bike because I I still
You
have
still
to
have
run,
to
right?
run. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah. So I'll start from the beginning.
Right.
So it's a very choppy day.
Mm.
Lot of side waves and side currents.
Right.
So, and it was an anti-clockwise loop.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very windy. It was a very choppy day
Mm-hmm.
on the swim with lot of side current,
Okay.
and we were supposed to swim the in the anti-clockwise direction, and the ropes were on the left side,
Mm-hmm.
and so and another thing what happened is that they're sending too many people with a you know they were of course sending only 3 people at a time, but they should have given at least 8 seconds between every 3 people to go. But it was only a couple of seconds. They were only waiting for the couple of seconds till they send the second group and then the next group.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, when we entered the water, it got crowd. It was it get crowdy,
Right.
and this the side waves are pushing us towards the rope. So basically, we were all getting pushed into us in like pushed into each other and
Right.
towards the rope.
Yeah.
And it was a horrible experience. The first stretch was a very, literally very horrible experience for me.
Yeah.
Uh, I was, whatever I do, I was always thrown towards the rope, and so it happened. I don't know what I was going to. At that time, I was like, I was in a survival mode. Like I have to survive this swim. I don't know. I was not
Right.
bothered about anything else.
Yeah.
And a couple of times, so because of the rope are anchored into the bed, right? So
Correct. Mm.
those ropes were because we were pushed through the ropes. Those ropes when we reached there
You were
would
getting entangled into those ropes.
entangle those ropes as well.
Okay.
And my one, I was not able to get my leg out of that entangled rope.
Wow.
So I got a bit
You get
and
spooked out, right?
yes,
Panicked. Yeah.
yeah, I went into a panic state at the moment and somehow got myself out. I had to literally hold the rope from one hand and get
Take it
the
out.
take it out
Yeah.
and then start swimming again
Yeah.
and complete the loop, and we have to do it twice.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was slightly more calm
Hmm.
because I know now what uh,
What to expect.
like what to
Yeah.
expect, right?
Yeah.
So the second loop, even though it was again a struggle, but went in a much better manner than the
Hmm.
first loop.
Right.
Uh, it was it was a really bad swim. I did 45 minutes or 46, I don't know,
Uh,
46 minutes, 45, 46 minutes swim,
yeah.
uh, as compared to 38 minutes what I did in
Correct.
France.
Yeah.
Yeah,
France.
I thought I did really terribly bad.
Hmm.
But when I got out of water, what good thing happened was because there were a lot of spectators and
Hmm.
a lot of them knew me. So
Okay.
they were actually chanting, shouting my name,
Hmm.
and that actually, even though I did see what was my time when I got out of water, it was 45, 46 minutes, and
Yeah.
even though I was very disappointed with that, but because the people were cheering and I felt,
It was.
uplifted
Yeah. Yeah.
by that,
Right.
and so I just ran hard towards the transition,
Hmm.
got into the bike, and as I mentioned, I wanted to go
Correct.
hard as
As hard
possible
as
on the bike.
possible on the bike. Yeah.
And I know because I didn't do my swim well. So probably
Right.
maybe others, they must be much ahead of me. So I
Hmm.
need to
Hmm.
get to them.
Right.
So I went hard. So there were three loops. So every loop I was just looking at those guys, how far I am with
Hmm.
in respect to them, so I can
Hmm.
see how much is
It's
more to
like
cover.
it's like an out and back loop so that you can see them.
Yeah, it's an out and back three loops.
Right.
So it's a pretty yeah.
Hmm.
So so I can
So
see
you
them how
always
far.
had an eye on your
Right,
competition, as in how far are they and stuff.
how far they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, after the first loop, I realized that yeah, I was gaining time, like reducing the margin.
Hmm.
Uh, it was they were still I think they were about 15 minutes ahead when I got out of the water.
Right.
Probably I
Hmm.
didn't realize that at that time. I thought that they will be 10-12 minutes.
Hmm.
Uh, because I could only see them after the first loop, after the end of the first loop, right?
Right.
But yeah, I went hard, and I think towards the end I was maybe I did gain about 5 minutes.
Hmm.
That's a lot considering they were also a very decent by
Right.
cycle,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Right. So I gained about 5 minutes, and I was the second fastest cyclist on that course that day.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
so I was pretty happy with my split. I didn't see. I was not like it's just because I gained a lot of time on them. I
Hmm.
felt yeah, I did a
I did
good
well.
bike
Yeah.
on the run course. I was like yeah, now I need to catch them as many people as I could, and so I think I was ninth out of bike. I knew this for sure that I am better. I'm a better runner than all of them,
Hmm.
so I can gain time with them. But I was not. I didn't know how far are they.
Right.
So again, I went hard in the first loop, but it was a slightly hilly course.
Hmm.
Uh, Basically, one section was hilly.
Right.
Uh, so when I went hard in the first one, that was okay. I was able to do that well. I was
Hmm.
able to sustain my pace. But the second time, I was really feeling fatigued, and it
Right.
was also getting hotter and humid.
Hmm.
But I still kept on, and I was able to do 123 for my 124, I think 124 for my run,
Okay.
and that was 7 minutes better than the any other athletes that day.
Wow.
So yeah, but I because they had the first guy had a very big margin in the swim, about
Uh,
15 minutes.
Whoa.
Uh,
15
I
minutes.
was
Hmm.
I was short of I was second by 5 minutes. So
Okay.
I gained 4 minutes on him on the bike, seven
Hmm.
minutes on him on the run,
Hmm.
but still
Still
he was
had like 4 5 minutes.
four and a half minutes
Yeah.
yeah, ahead of me.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
good. Like the whole what I love about Goa race was the amount of support, amount of
Hmm.
you know because
Right.
you're doing it at your home crowd. I didn't.
Yeah. People who recognize you and you are.
It's both. Yeah. Even if people doesn't recognize me, they started. They were actually pushing me, and they were all cheering for me, and
Yeah.
the run course was really really amazing.
Hmm.
So it felt really good throughout,
Hmm.
and I was delighted when I finished the race. I was clearly not expecting to be in top three, but
Yeah.
uh,
Who was the first guy?
it was the same guy who did 409 in Pune that I mentioned, right? Bishorjit.
Ah, okay,
When I did
okay.
first sub five race, the
Right,
guy who won
right.
that race, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, okay.
But if I look back, so he was 36 minutes ahead of me during that race, and in
Now it was
Goa,
only
I
five
was just
minutes.
5 minutes ahead of me. I so
Yeah,
that's a good way to look at your improvement. So I was really
ab-
satisfied with my performance.
absolutely, absolutely. So that was your you know if you look at the improvement, like you mentioned, from
Hmm.
your first triathlon where you had almost close to 7 hours,
7 hours,
including
right?
that flat, and then
Yes.
immediately your second one was like sub 5, and after that almost everything was sub 5 except for knees, I guess, right?
Yes.
I think it is safe to say you are one of the fastest triathletes in India right now, at least for that distance, right? So well done,
Yeah.
working on the specific weaknesses and getting better over a period of time. We see that consistent, that geekiness in you, that IIT engineer geekiness, and then working, looking at each of the problem and breaking that into components and working at each of those consistently and methodically, and really really impressive work there. So
Thank you.
congratulations. So now, coming to your recent race, right, the win at
Hmm.
NDM, that
Yes.
that was like 16 minutes better than your previous best. That is like a huge chunk out of an already good time, right? So,
Yes.
what are the things that changed during this? Say last year was what, complete lockdown for a lot, all of us, and
Yes.
so many things could go haywire. With no races for any of us, a lot of
Hmm.
us kind of lost motivation and kind of fell off track and all that. But it seems to have had an opposite effect on you. So how did this happen?
Uh, yeah, I mean, even the beginning of lockdown, even I was, slightly, demotivated
Hmm.
to, train as in because we were not sure when the things are going to be open and things were short. We were not able to go out.
Right.
So the initial few weeks, I was not able to run, and at that time, I was, I had made so many changes with my training methodology and training region. I wanted to try that out first, and I wanted to see how well I would able to go with the current method that I
Hmm.
have been. I wanted to try, and I was also really focusing to uh, get my swim timing better. So
Hmm.
like I said, I was around 38 minutes for 1.9 kilometers. I wanted to get it down to 30 minutes, and I
Hmm.
was seeing signs of that. That I was getting better. Right, in a
Right.
recent race, I was able to do a 33 minutes just before 1 month before the lockdown. I was able to do 33 minutes a
Wow.
swim for
Hmm.
the same distance.
Right.
So there was I was seeing sign that I can get much better if I continue training
Right.
that passion.
Hmm.
Uh, but then the schools were closed initially, and then we were not allowed to go out. So
Right.
swim was out of picture first, and then run was out of picture.
Hmm.
Thankfully, because I had the indoor trainer, I was able to bike, but
Hmm.
initially was I was uncertain, right, what to train for because
Right.
you're not sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know, it's also it's it's my nature that I cannot just stay away from the game for a
Hmm.
long,
Hmm.
even though if it is just training,
Hmm.
I can't just stay away. So initially, uh, I thought, okay, it's okay if I'm not able to swim. I'll work on my upper body strength
Hmm.
uh, because I know I still haven't, I had never really worked on that
Hmm.
part. Out of pool strength as close, let's work on that. And
Correct.
since for running, I thought maybe, I can also work a bit more on my own stability. So
Hmm.
I had recently had very issues with my own stability in terms of I had a few lower leg related I would not say injuries, but
Hmm.
there are not major injuries, but minor injuries.
Hmm.
So I thought, yeah, maybe this is the time where I can put focused. put more focus on these aspects, because if I would
Mm-hmm.
just go out and train, I would miss on these opportunities. And because I have more time now, I can work on
Right.
that. It
Mm.
started that way,
Mm.
and I was just cycling at that time, because that's the only way I could
Right.
do any aerobic effort. Since I had at least I could do cycling. I thought, yeah, let's focus on that. How much ever power I can build in the next few months. Still
Mm.
unsure of how long the lockdown will take.
Right.
Uh, yeah, but I could see a lot of improvement in my bike in the initial phase. Initial phase itself, I had a lot to do with, because I was only doing cycling. I was
Right.
not running.
Yeah.
Because in a way, this cycling and running, sometimes they complement each other. Sometimes they're also kind of hindrance
Right.
uh, to each other,
Mm.
because you're not putting up enough hours in
Either
each
of those.
yeah, either of those. So
Mm.
that way it's a hindrance, but still on overall fitness, well, of course we are gaining more.
Correct. Mm.
So, but yeah, when I was doing cycling, I could see I was improving a lot. And again, after 4 weeks into lockdown, I thought, yeah, that's enough. I can't stay away from running.
Uh,
Uh, I I had to actually ask the security in my complex, to let me run,
right.
so I can just run in the society as well. I'll not go out on the
Yeah.
road. I'll just
Yeah.
run inside.
Mm.
So they said, okay, it's okay. You can
Yeah.
run inside.
Yeah.
And also I used at that time. It was also Ramzan,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so
Okay.
I was fasting. So
Mm.
I would not go out in the day. I would
Mm.
only do it after sunset.
Okay.
So I used to go for a run in the night. So
Mm.
there was no one was there, so they were all okay with that. So
Right.
I slowly started getting into the running.
Mm.
Initially, again, I was trying to get my running fitness back. Was not just doing a lot of just building the mileages again,
Yeah.
but not doing any specific workouts, but
Mm.
just wanted to get that endurance back.
Right.
Uh, so that was the initial phase, and the main focus was again to get the big bike fitness up, because that's the only measurable aspect I could see, right?
Mm.
Uh, because I can't go and do a time trial
Within
in
that
this
complex. Yeah.
in this complex, right?
Yeah.
It's just absurd to do
Yeah.
that. So I
Yeah.
thought, okay, I'll just keep the fitness as it is.
Mm.
I'll If I have to do a time trial or anything, I'll do it on the bike and assess
Right.
my bike fitness.
Mm.
So it was going well, and towards the end of July, towards end of June, I because the restrictions were relaxed a
Lifted.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went home. I went to Hyderabad. Took everything to Hyderabad,
uh,
uh, and even then I was again doing. I was building more mileages for my run.
mm.
Uh, Still doing a lot of cycling and more intense session on the bike, but
Mm.
just doing enough volume on the run.
Run.
Uh, right. So the reason I was doing this is another aspect of this. One is, of course, I was not able to do intensity, but
Mm.
it's also that I never worked on my running mileage. Right.
Okay.
Even when I did the 2 hour 47 marathon in Tata Mumbai Marathon, I was only doing 60 kilometers per week.
Okay.
Okay, as
Mm.
compared to what I'm doing right now is 120 kilometers per week.
Wow. Almost double.
Right, almost
Mm.
double.
Mm.
So one aspect is that over this lockdown period, I actually build it from 60 kilometers, and now I'm doing 100 and 120, like ranging from
Right.
100 and 130 kilometers.
Right.
So that lockdown phase helped me, gave me an opportunity to build that.
Right.
Since I was only building mileage, I was not that worried about recovery in terms,
Mm.
because I was not putting a hard effort.
Right.
Right? So I was able to build mileage, and as I got more comfortable with the mileage,
Mm.
I thought, once I'm comfortable with mileage, I'll be able to, if I have to put in or cut down a mileage a bit to include intensity, I will be able to do it. But
Right.
I will still be doing at a higher mileage.
Correct.
I had always had a plan to go to Pune, and since I was still working from home and offices were not going to open till, at that time it was April,
Right.
but now it
Hmm.
has extended to August or September,
Yeah.
whenever they're going to open. But at least for 6 months it was not going to open. I thought I'll go to Pune and stay there, and because I'm uh, a friend of mine, Anirban Mukherjee, uh, he opened his sports academy,
Okay.
where he has a lot of athletes, mostly runners
Hmm.
from different places. The underprivileged runners.
Okay.
Uh, so he has sponsored those athletes to train and race together.
Hmm.
So he, I asked him. He said you can come and train with them.
Okay.
So I thought, yeah, I'll have a good company with them,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I also knew a lot of good cyclists in Pune. So I
Okay.
thought, yeah, I can do my running, specific workouts with them and cycling specific workouts with the cyclists I know in Pune.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I came to Pune in mid of October.
Hmm.
Uh, Got a 1 BHK, settled into it, and yeah, from there, the last 4 months, I got chance to express myself in terms of doing a hard work session. Initially, again I pulled the mileage back, but as I went on ahead, I slowly added more volume.
Hmm.
And in January, I did a couple of cross country runs, 10 kilometers runs.
Hmm.
Uh, the, initially I did a 5 kilometer time trial to see how much. It's a good fitness test for anyone who wants to
Right.
try it, to assess how much you have improved. It's like a threshold test for your
It's
bike,
like an
right?
FTP test for bike, right? Yeah.
So yes, yes, I was able to improve by 22 seconds. It might not be a lot, but yeah, it was still a good indication that I have improved a lot. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, in the 1 year, including
Right.
lockdown plus the training I've
Hmm.
been doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then I did a couple of cross country runs, and in one of the race, it was a Pune district cross country championship.
Hmm.
It was only 10 kilometers. There are a bunch of uh, runners who went really hard uh, from the beginning, and
Okay.
because since I was an endurance athlete, uh, so it's also 10 kilometers also new to me. Of course,
Hmm.
I used to do 5 kilometers back in
Yeah. College.
15, 16. That was like
Yeah.
again 5 years back. I was
Right.
never into the race mode, so I
Hmm.
thought I'll just conserve myself and see if I could push towards the end.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I realized that they were taking a lot. The lead has improved a lot in the first 2 kilometers itself, and I tried to catch up with them. I started pushing, but I couldn't. I was still managed to finish third, but 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 I realized that I could have won that race if
Okay.
only if I have gone with that racing strategy in mind.
Right.
So right, so
Yeah.
it's just that as an endurance athlete, I have learned
To
things
be
to hold
more
back,
conservative. Yeah.
and
Hmm.
yes. So in the next race, I didn't do that. I just went all out. It
Hmm.
was a state championship again. So district championship. I qualified for the state championship. There the competition was tougher.
Right.
Uh, even though I even though I finished 18th there, but I was going all out from the first second till the
Yeah.
end of the race.
Hmm.
But I realized that yeah, I had I could uh, push myself that much.
Right.
I never because I was not racing for so long.
Hmm.
It's not just racing. Even if I do a 70.3, you're always holding yourself back. Even
Correct.
when I told you I was going to go hard on my bike in Ironman Goa. I
Hmm.
was still aware that I have to conserve myself for the run. So I would go hard, but not
Yeah.
hard enough,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then this base taught me that yeah, I could still go hard enough.
Hmm.
Like my college days where I
Right.
used to go hard for 400 meters or 800 meters. I
Yeah.
could still do that with
Hmm.
the aerobic engine I have developed over the years. So there, right after that, after this race, this happened on 31st of Jan.
Hmm.
Uh, I I wanted to, you know, I heard about the New Delhi Marathon that is going to they're going to
Do
conduct a
it.
live event, right?
Hmm. Right.
So I thought, yeah, why not just see how well I can fare in
Right. Right.
marathon.
It's funny, right, that we have to quantify a event or marathon with live versus virtual, because during the
Yeah,
lockdown the virtual things have become so money that you have to call it a live event now when you say a marathon. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
right. So yeah, so I thought like I was uh, really happy that I would be racing a half full marathon, and
Hmm.
it was over 2 years that I raced. I did because the last one was in Mumbai Marathon in 2019 January.
Correct.
So it was more than 2 years,
Hmm.
and with the fitness and the new race mind that I had now, I felt
Hmm.
like this is good time to see how well I can fare in the 42-kilometer race.
Right.
So I to because again I was only doing I just did a 5 kilometer time trials and two 10 kilometer cross country runs. It was
Right.
still far from a full marathon distance.
Yes.
So mid of February, I decided to do a 25-kilometer time trial to see
Hmm.
how well I could do. The other guy from the sports academy that I told you,
Right.
Manoj,
Hmm.
uh, he also tagged along with me. So he was also going to do the full marathon with me in New Delhi Marathon.
Right.
So we thought we'll do a 225 time trial and see how it goes.
Right.
The initial plan was to do it just under 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 32 minutes,
Hmm.
but it went well. It went really well. We we were like 4 seconds per kilometer faster than our goal pace.
Okay.
Uh, Even though again we started conservative, but we were feeling much better 5 kilometers into the 20 kilometer, and at one point I even didn't had to look at my watch what pace I'm going. I was feeling
Hmm.
really good uh,
Right.
because of because I was set into that rhythm,
Hmm.
and so it went well. It gave me a lot of confidence that I could do really well uh, in the
Full
full marathon
marathon.
in New Delhi. From that performance, I thought I should be able to do under 2 hours 35 minutes. Just that I need to, things should not go wrong in terms of, because we never know what will happen after 30 kilometers. So
Right.
there's always that thing in mind,
Hmm.
what might happen. You might end up having cramps, you might be under fueled, you might be, even if you're over fueled, you can
Yeah.
still bonk.
Right.
Uh, so many things that could go wrong after 30-35 kilometers.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, but it was good that we did that 25-kilometer time trial because it gave us confidence that yeah, yeah, this is the pace where we could aim for,
Hmm.
right? So let's see what happens after 30 kilometers. Even if we are able to do this pace for 30 kilometers,
Right.
uh, if not 235, maybe under 240 is also not bad.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what we had in mind. Again, I started the race, New Delhi Marathon, very conservatively, and actually, I was not feeling really good that day. I don't know. There was
Okay.
some stomach cramps or pains I had.
Hmm.
Not feeling really good at the start.
Hmm.
But after a few kilometers, 6 kilometers, I was like, okay, the pace is slightly slower than what we planned for.
Hmm.
But I thought because I'm not feeling good, let's
Hmm.
keep it this way.
Yeah.
Uh, but we were still overtaking people.
Okay.
So after 6 kilometers, I actually stopped looking at my watch and I
Hmm.
thought, okay, let's try to get to the lead group.
Hmm.
Uh, if
Okay.
because uh, so we started to overtake a lot of people, and towards 9 kilometers, I could see the lead group in front of me. Me and Manoj, right? I
Right.
named
Your
is that.
training partner. Hmm.
Yes. So we were together the
Hmm.
whole time.
Right.
So our plan was to go together and see how it goes after 35 kilometers.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we were able to reach to the lead group. There were only three people
Hmm.
that group. So we were basically fourth and fifth
Hmm.
at that time.
Right.
And so we surged a bit, reached up to them at around 10.5 or 11 kilometer mark,
Right.
and it was then basically it was we were pushing each other. So
Okay.
I thought once I overtake them, they'll not come back. Because that's what was happening with the other runners. Once I
Right.
start
Right.
so I thought it'll be just me and Manoj after that,
Right.
but they also started pushing. So
Right.
every kilometer or so, someone would surge again to
Yeah.
take the lead.
Yeah.
So it went that way till 18, 19 kilometers,
Hmm.
till and then one of the guy in that group, uh, he surged to a much faster pace,
Hmm.
and I looked at my watch that and I thought, no, let's hold back because we are going at a
Yeah.
we're already overshooting our
Targets.
goal pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's not go and try to catch him. Let's hold back.
Yeah.
Uh, because, and I don't know, some instinctively I knew that that guy is going to slow down in some time.
Right.
Be-
It's not sustainable.
Because, yeah, it's not sustainable. And also when he was running with us,
Hmm.
I could see that he was not, he was, he was pushing hard
Yeah.
and he was
You
not
could
very
you
comfortable.
you could tell from the breathing and stuff.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I thought, okay, let him search for a while. And but he was always in vicinity. I could always see him, even if he
Right.
was when he was 100 meters ahead of me. I was able to see him, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and so he maintained that lead for 25 kilometers, still 20 from 19 to 25 kilometers.
Hmm.
And then I realized that he's slowing down.
Right.
And so, like again, I didn't search. He just because he was slowing, I just tried to keep my uh,
Phase.
pace,
Hmm.
right? And so me and Manoj were able to caught him uh, in 27, 28 kilometers, 27, 28 kilometers
Hmm.
mark, and then he tried to hold on to us for another 2 kilometers,
Hmm.
and after 30 kilometers he slowed down further. So at 30
Okay.
kilometers it was just me and Manoj, and I was like, okay, now we are leading, and now no one is going to come from behind unless uh,
We slow down.
yeah,
Hmm.
unless we slow down. So we
Right.
are going good, and but yeah, at that time I started feeling uh, I don't know, some kind of a muscle catch on my both hamstring and inner thigh.
Okay.
Okay, but so I didn't surge at all. So I was feeling good, but I was not able. I was like, let's not push hard because I don't know when this
Hmm.
might convert into a cramp or a catch. If that happens, then I probably won't be able to hold
Right.
this this pace. So
Hmm.
I was very conservative, but and in from 30 to 35 kilometers, and 35 kilometers, even Manoj started slowing down.
Hmm.
So I continued with my pace, and at around 38-kilometer mark, uh, I got a bad catch cramp on my left hamstring,
Okay.
and I had to stop.
Uh-huh.
I had to stop and stretch, and then I started to run.
Hmm.
I couldn't move my left leg.
Hmm.
Uh, and in meantime, Manoj crossed me, overtook me.
Hmm.
Uh, but he was going at a slower pace.
Hmm.
And then I stayed for a few more seconds. I started walking.
Hmm.
Uh, then I slowly started jogging.
Hmm.
And then I thought, "Huh, it is just slightly, I could feel the catch, but it is not restricting me anymore." I was like, okay,
Right.
let's
Hmm.
keep it that way slowly. Let's gradually increase the pace and see what happens. And because physically I was feeling good, it's just that
It's that
cramp was
cramp. Yeah.
just that cramp because
Hmm.
otherwise even I was feeling I was
The
not feeling almost
aerobically, you're, yeah,
yeah,
you're
yes,
completely in
aerobic
top
I was
shape. Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
So I thought, okay, Manoj is not that ahead. He's still 50, 60 meters ahead of me.
Hmm.
And now I am into jogging, right? Now,
Hmm.
so slowly gradually increased to this
The pace.
to the same pace that
Hmm.
what we were holding.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was able to caught him in the next kilometer.
Hmm.
And from 39 kilometers to 40 kilometer, I just try to hold the same pace and see. And at 40 kilometers, I just looked back to see how far Manoj is. I couldn't see him. So
Hmm. Hmm.
at
Hmm.
that time, I was actually, very delighted that, yeah, now this is my race.
Right.
I, okay. So I didn't push again because I was again worried that I would get a
About the
cramp.
cramp.
But,
Yeah.
but I was feeling happy, and it's also a mental thing, right? When you're happy, when you know you're going to win something
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something is going your way,
Yeah.
your body will support you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could be that, or also because I was slightly conservative, I was holding back.
Hmm.
Till 41 kilometers, where again after 41 I started
Hmm.
pushing the pace again because I know it's just 1 kilometer and
That sounds like a perfect race apart from that small cramp
small
that
hit.
kind
Yeah.
of uh,
So
through
that's
a
15,
bit
20.
of
Yeah.
some
Except
seconds
for that
lost there.
20 seconds, I think
Yeah.
the race was almost perfect.
Awesome, awesome. So this the building that engine, that building the base, taking the mileage from 60 to almost doubling the mileage gradually over that lockdown period,
Yes.
kind of really helped. And on top of that, moving to a place where you had company for
Right.
your speed work,
Yes.
really gradually built on brick by brick, right? You laid the
Yes.
foundation strong enough so that you could take that speed and build on it. And on
Build
top
on.
of that, those races also got that killer instinct back for the full
True.
on race mode. So
More. Right.
from triathlon mode of long distance triathlon mode of kind of going a little conservative to almost dialing that to from 90 95 to closer to 100, kind
Right.
of helped that win, I guess.
Right.
Really, really
Right.
impressive stuff. This one really gives a good insight into what is the kind of work people need to put in to kind of progress, right? Although you might be blessed with a bit of that higher VO2 um, to do well straight off when you got into racing in college. You
Yes.
still have to put in that work to build that. So
That's right.
excellent.
That's
Yeah.
that's true. That you need to put in. You know, like at right now I would put in more volume if I could, but
Right.
yeah, you need to put those necessary mileage and volume in whatever you want to pursue, right?
Right.
Even for cycling, I think it's the same game. When I was only doing doing two sessions to now I'm doing a session almost every day.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a lot of volume that helps you.
Right.
grow, especially in an endurance and in a longer races.
Right.
Uh, but yeah,
Ex.
also doing those short races also help you get that.
Mm.
It'll actually help you understand your capacity and limits, right?
Right.
What you
Right.
can push,
Yeah.
even and if having build up all that endurance, harness as much of your capacity as possible in the
Absolutely.
longer race.
Right. Awesome, awesome. So from now here, you kind of got to 2:31:33 is your
Yes.
marathon PB. What what are the goals ahead in terms of
Uh,
pure running and triathlon? Or what's ahead on the road?
so I have a couple of triathlon races lined up. I'm not sure if because it was lined up last year and they've got postponed to this year. And
Hmm.
again, I'm not unsure of whether they're going to happen. But if that happens, one is the World Championship, 70.3 World Championship in September,
Hmm.
US.
Right.
Uh, and then at the Ironman Goa is of course there in November.
Hmm.
Uh, but I let's see.
Yeah.
I'm
This
uh,
year, it's still up in the air, I think.
yeah. It's not.
Very much
Yeah.
in similar lines to 2020. Although a lot of
True.
smaller events are happening and we are seeing live
Right.
marathons and stuff, I not sure quite, everything will go as per the plan. Let's see. Yeah,
Yes.
fingers crossed.
Yeah. In terms of marathon, there's Mumbai Marathon in 30th of May. Again, not sure if it's going to
Mm-hmm.
take place, but
Yeah,
I'm hoping for that.
yeah,
In terms of a long term, I haven't given it a lot of thought right now, but I would pursue both equally. Like I would pursue both triathlon and marathon equally.
mm.
Uh, but there will be phases where I will be pursuing one or the other. So,
Right, right.
right. So
Mm.
this like last couple of months was more running oriented, but I was still doing decent bike volume.
Maintenance
But
work.
yes,
Mm.
so the maintenance work will still go on even if I focus on
One or
the
the
other
other.
sports,
Yeah,
right? But yeah, like it's not like I'm going to pick one.
right.
I will do. I'll still. I think I'm improving in uh,
Absolutely.
both disciplines. So I'll just keep doing that.
Mm.
Uh, so let's see. So the
Yeah, yeah.
immediate target for a marathon would be to get under the the
2:30.
super 230 mark.
Right.
So
Awesome.
let's see. Let's
I'm
let's
sure you'll get there soon enough.
yeah,
Right. So
right.
you've been at it, achieving all this while working full time. You're helping others kind of do better at their running and triathlon.
Right.
So, what are some of the tips that you would give working athletes to do well both at work and their sport?
What I have experienced myself is that I have always been consistent with my training, right?
Hmm.
So as long as you are consistent with your training, and again, it doesn't need to be your training. I'm just saying consistent with even with your work, right? You
Right.
put in your when you're working in office, you committedly do your work there. When I'm in office, I just focus on my job,
Right.
and otherwise I wouldn't have time for doing doing what I'm doing, right?
Right.
Doing what I love, right?
Right.
So you need to put commitment to both these aspects,
Yeah.
and of course, the bigger so anything that you want to pursue, that anything that you love, of course, you have to be consistent in that, and you also have to be slightly smart about it.
Hmm.
Uh, there are you can't be over ambitious. You can't achieve a lot in shorter period of time. Even though I was a decent runner, decent 5 kilometer runner in my college time. When I was building endurance, I was very conservative.
Right.
I was not, I didn't went into a half marathon saying that I could do a sub 90 minutes. marathon, but
Mm.
I held back myself because I knew if I'm not in shape, I won't be able to do that. I need to first get back into shape, build my aerobic endurance,
Mm.
and then do that.
Right.
So so doing like working on your basic is really important, even at any level. At any level, it doesn't
Right.
matter if you're a 4 hour, 5 hour marathoner or a sub 3 hour marathoner. So
Right.
it doesn't matter. You need to
Mm.
still work on your base, and that base will take you to your next level.
Right.
Given that you do those those critical workouts,
Right.
so don't miss out on that. And don't miss out on your
Yeah.
base building phase as well.
Right. So gradually building your uh, uh, brick by brick, building that foundation so
Yes,
that you can put more layers on top, and
right.
being smart about your goals as to not jump into something like an Ironman with very little time to train and stuff
Yes.
like that, so that being smart about your goals as well.
Yeah,
Excellent.
another aspect is it's your recovery. That's the
Right.
most important part. Okay,
Hmm.
I it didn't came out in our discussion, but so I initially when I was into I started and during endurance, I thought,
Hmm.
if I do a bit of stretching and everything, I'll be okay. But it doesn't work that way. As
Right.
you keep on building volume and mileages, you
Hmm.
need that much amount of recovery as well. So
Right.
you need to, uh, whatever tricks you apply, but you need to work on, you need to give a specific time for your recovery as
Hmm.
well, right? Nowadays, I'm almost, say work, if I'm doing two parts of training, I'm doing one part recovery as well.
Hmm.
So So your recovery is as much important as your training.
Right.
So without recovery, you can't uh,
Yeah.
gain anything in your performance.
Yeah. What are the some of the things that you would do for ensuring
Uh,
recovery?
Yoga,
Hmm.
stretching,
Hmm.
foam rolling, icing, ice baths, uh, sometimes compression. Uh, what else? What else? Of course, nutrition is a part of
Having the
recovery.
right nutrition. Yeah.
Having the right nutrition, right? And uh, and also when you're taking it. So
Yeah.
So whenever you're after a hard session, you need to be really careful when you're taking. You need to take it as soon as possible.
Hmm.
For a easy workout, depending upon how fit you are, it might differ. But for for an intense workout, you must take it as soon as possible.
Right.
And it's having a the most important thing is sleep, right?
Right.
So as you keep on increasing your volume, you need you need to also increase your sleep or uh,
Give that
you know
body enough rest, that
body rest,
sleep to
right?
recover. Right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Even if you're sitting, another thing that helped me personally is that uh, I would have to go to office. Now I can sit at home and work on my recovery, right? I can't.
Right.
Previously, when I used to go to office, I would not be, I would like, uh, I wouldn't have time to do recovery.
Right. So
Now,
with
hmm,
the work from home, that flexibility is there
yes,
for you to say put your as simple a thing as putting your feet up to
yes, exactly.
recover. Right. So you can't do that in office.
So yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you take office breaks, right? Now you
Right.
can take break to just do some icing or anything, like
Right.
or having the right nutrition. And
Mm.
you're at home, so you can uh, prepare food according to your needs, right?
Right.
And you can have whatever you want at work. And
Right.
it has also helped me plan my workout that way, because previously I used to get my both the session done in the morning itself.
Hmm.
Uh, with lockdown, I'm doing my second session in the evening because now I can I cannot run out of office, do a session and come back to office.
Hmm.
But here at home, I can do that because I am saving the commuting time there.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so
Awesome. Awesome.
I can still put in a little 45 minutes or 60 minutes of session in the evening.
Right. Right. Excellent. These are really, really good insights into your training and recovery methods and everything, Nihal. Thank you for taking the time and sharing all your experiences with the Working Athlete podcast. Really appreciate your time and all the
Thank you,
very
Venki.
best for your future goals.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me here.